The Bold and the Beautiful, the Paternity Bombshell, Bridget's Test, Luna's Lies, and the Spencer Forrester Fallout at Spencer Mansion. Beneath chandeliers and walls lined with portraits of power, the tension was so thick it could strangle. Katie Logan had orchestrated a showdown the likes of which even the longest-serving Bold and the Beautiful fans hadn't seen in years. After weeks of speculation, manipulation, and escalating anxiety, Luna Nozawa's shocking pregnancy claim had led to this moment. The paternity test that would either crown her as the next mother of a Spencer heir or end her time in Los Angeles permanently. Katie had made her decision quietly, firmly, and with surgical precision. She called in Dr. Bridget Forrester, not just as a physician but as a warrior. Bridget was chosen not simply for her medical expertise but for her history, her integrity, her scars. She was a woman who had lived through the brutal consequences of paternity deception. Katie knew Bridget wouldn't flinch. Not under pressure. Not even from family. She needed someone immune to manipulation. And she got her. Bridget arrived without fanfare. She wore no expression. Her presence was a scalpel, clean, sharp, and ready to cut through the lies. Everyone felt it, especially Luna. Luna sat tensely on the edge of the couch, one hand protectively over her abdomen, the other trembling slightly in her lap. Her voice, which had been firm and almost triumphant in earlier conversations with Katie and Bill, now wavered. The presence of Electra Forrester across the room was like acid on her skin. Electra wasn't saying much, but her silence was an indictment all its own. Her eyes never left Luna. Will stood near the window, arms crossed, posture stiff with guilt. Bill Spencer loomed behind Katie, silent, unreadable, but coiled. Watching, waiting. Everyone had come for answers. No one expected peace. Katie broke the silence. Thank you all for coming. We're going to do this the right way. No more whispers. No more guessing. Bridget will conduct the paternity test here, now, in front of all of us. The results will be sealed until she can verify them. There will be no lab interference. No delays. No tricks. She turned to Luna. This is your chance to clear everything, or bury yourself. Luna nodded, but barely. Her eyes darted to Will, seeking comfort, a connection. But he didn't move. He didn't meet her gaze. Bridget set up the collection kits, her gloves snapping into place. Will, Luna, we'll begin with you. The procedure was swift. A cheek swab. Silent exchanges. Bridget's focus never wavered. Her professionalism was unshakable. Even as Luna whispered, "Thank you for doing this," Bridget offered no warmth. "Let the truth speak," she replied simply. Electra left the room as soon as the samples were taken. Will followed, catching her by the arm on the patio. The conversation between them was soft, strained, but raw. "I want this to be over," Will said. "I want us to go back to where we were." Electra shook her head. "We don't get to go back. Not if you're about to become someone's father." Will's voice cracked. His usual Spencer confidence shattered. "I don't remember that night. She drugged me. I would never." Electra held up a hand. "You don't have to explain. But I can't make promises until I know what I'm promising to." She turned to leave but stopped. "If the baby is yours, I'll walk away. But if it's not, maybe we still have a chance." And then she was gone. Inside, Katie handed Bridget a secure envelope. "Send it to the lab with your credentials only. Let no one touch it." "No one." Bridget nodded. "You'll get your results by the end of the week." And just like that, the waiting began. But this is the bold and the beautiful. Waiting is never quiet. By midweek, Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester had caught wind of what was happening. Not from tabloids, but directly from Katie, who was done keeping secrets. In a heated conversation at Forrester Creations, she filled them in. "Luna is alive. She's pregnant. She claims Will is the father. The paternity test is underway. Bridget is handling it." Brooke was speechless. Ridge wasn't. "Are you telling me Luna Nozawa, who was supposed to be dead, is now living under Bill Spencer's roof and possibly carrying his son's child?" Katie nodded. "That's exactly what I'm telling you." Ridge exploded. "And Bridget is involved in this circus? You dragged my daughter into this mess?" Katie stood her ground. "I didn't drag her into anything. I gave her the opportunity to keep this from spiraling into a legal disaster. This is about protecting Will. About finding the truth. About not letting Luna manipulate her way into power again." Brooke, still stunned, sat in silence. "We thought she was dead," she whispered. "We grieved her. And now she's back. Pregnant? With Will?" She looked to Ridge. "What will this do to the Forresters?" Katie didn't flinch. "That depends entirely on what's in that envelope." The next 2 days were agony. Will barely ate. Electra ghosted most of her contacts. Luna stayed inside, flitting between anxiety and defiance. Bill had his legal team on standby. Katie spent her nights at Will's side, sleeping in the chair outside his room. Bridget called only once to confirm receipt at the lab. Until Friday, the final scene of the week opened in the main living room of the Spencer estate. Everyone was there again. The same cast, the same air of dread. Only now, the energy was thicker. Heavier. No one spoke as Bridget walked in, sealed envelope in hand. Her expression gave away nothing. Katie was the one to ask. Is it ready? Bridget nodded. Yes. She turned to Will. Do you want to open it? Will swallowed hard. His hands shook. No, I can't. Katie stepped forward. Then I will. She opened the envelope. Silence. Bridget leaned forward, whispering the result into Katie's ear. Katie turned slowly, holding the single sheet of paper like it was a live grenade. Her eyes locked with Luna's. And then, cut to black. Cliffhanger. No words. No reveal. Just pure, undiluted suspense. The screen faded with only the sound of one heartbeat, unconfirmed, unseen, but soon to detonate. And when that envelope is opened on Monday, there will be no going back. Because the result inside is more than just a name on a line. It's a verdict on trust, on love, on power. It's the question everyone's been asking. Is Luna carrying Will Spencer's child? And the answer is about to change everything. For the Spencers, for the Forresters, for Bridget, for Electra, for Katie, for Luna, and for the audience. Because this isn't just a paternity test. This is war. The bold and the beautiful. Luna's reckoning in the sterile chill of the hospital corridor. Tension crackled like static. The air was thick with dread, accusation, and barely restrained rage. Lee stood rigid outside Luna's room, her fists clenched so tight the knuckles shone white. Her eyes, cold, clinical, but unmistakably livid, locked on the girl behind the glass. A girl she had once tried to accept. A girl who now represented betrayal, chaos, and the imminent threat to everything sacred. Luna sat on the hospital bed. Pale, guarded, her eyes hollow from days of interrogation and isolation. She flinched when Lee pushed open the door with enough force to rattle the hinges. The confrontation was inevitable. You don't get to cry, Lee said icily, voice slicing through the silence like a scalpel. You don't get to be the victim. Luna's lip trembled, but she didn't speak. She knew better now. You're worse than your mother, Lee spat. At least she never pretended to be innocent. You walked into our lives with that angel face. And you poisoned everything. The door remained half open. Nurses hesitated at the threshold. No one dared interfere. The scene was too dangerous, too personal. Lee, for all her professionalism, had reached a breaking point. You nearly got Steffi killed. Twice, she said. You think this ends with another apology? Another excuse? No. You will answer for this. Every single thing. She took a step closer. Luna shrank back, but there was nowhere to go. The hospital bed boxed her in. Lee's hand twitched, and for a heartbeat, just one, Luna thought she might strike her. She didn't. Not yet. Outside the room, chaos was spiraling. Ridge Forrester was on a warpath, his fury channeling into every word, every phone call. And the target was clear, Bill Spencer. You brought her back, Ridge snarled, pacing the Forrester offices like a lion locked in a cage. You knew what she was capable of. You saw what happened. And you still let her in. Bill didn't flinch. She was a kid. She had no one. She deserved a second chance. She didn't deserve Steffi's blood on her hands. Or yours. If anything happens to my daughter, it's on you. The room went silent. Ridge's words hit like a gavel. And they weren't alone. Brooke, standing just behind Ridge, wasn't offering comfort this time. Her concern was razor sharp. Calculated. We need to get ahead of this, she said. Luna needs to be locked up before Steffi comes home. Before she walks into this nightmare again. There was a pause. You want me to call the police? Bill asked, incredulous. No, Ridge said coldly. I want her in custody before Steffi even knows she's back in LA. The order was clear. Arrest Luna. Charge her. Bury her under enough legal pressure that she couldn't crawl out from under it. Ridge didn't just want accountability. He wanted exile, punishment, erasure. And time was running out. Steffi's return was imminent. Her recovery in Paris had been long, cloaked in silence, managed carefully to avoid headlines. But the moment she stepped foot on American soil, she'd learned that Luna, the girl who had drugged her, crashed her car, and sparked the scandal that nearly tore Forrester Creations apart, was not only alive but walking free. Or at least, she had been. For now, back at the hospital, the divide was deepening. One side demanded justice, the other cried innocence. Luna's supporters were few. Even those who once defended her, RJ, hesitant but loyal, were falling quiet, unsure what to believe. The whispers were everywhere, that Luna had been part of something darker, more deliberate. That the accidents weren't accidents. That someone, maybe Luna herself, had been pulling strings the whole time. And now, with Steffi returning, the stakes were no longer just emotional. They were legal, criminal. There were already murmurs of a civil case. But if Steffi chose to pursue criminal charges? If she filed a statement, if the DA got involved, it would be over for Luna. And no one knew that better than Brooke. We need to protect Steffi, she said in a closed-door meeting with Ridge and Carter. If that means pushing for charges now, so be it. Luna should be in a holding cell before Steffi even steps off the plane. Carter, always the diplomat, hesitated. There's no proof Luna intended harm. Without evidence, it'll be hard to make anything stick. Ridge was unmoved. She's a threat. That's all the proof I need. Across town, at the airport, the jet carrying Steffi descended through a pale blue sky. She was calm, unaware. Of course she was. No one had told her. Not yet, but that calm would shatter. The third shock, the one no one dared prepare her for, was about to hit. The first had been the crash. The second, the coma. And now, the truth that Luna, the ghost from her trauma, was not only alive but had slithered back into their world. Security escorted Steffi from the tarmac. Her expression was soft, almost hopeful. That wouldn't last. Back at the hospital, the guards arrived. 2 officers, plainclothes but with intent. Luna was seated on the edge of the bed, hands clenched as they entered. No words. Just the metallic click of handcuffs. You're under arrest for suspicion of criminal endangerment, one officer said. No, she whispered. Please. This wasn't. Lee watched from the hallway, arms folded. Cold satisfaction in her gaze. This is just the beginning, she muttered. News spread fast. Ridge was notified. Bill argued, protested. But the die was cast. Steffi's car approached the house. And inside, her family was preparing to break the news. But the real confrontation couldn't be delayed forever. Steffi and Luna were on a collision course. And the moment they saw each other again, truly saw each other, would decide everything. Would Luna beg for forgiveness? Would Steffi strike her down, with words or worse? Would this spiral into a courtroom war, the likes of which Forrester had never seen? Because Steffi remembered. Every scream, every siren, every second trapped in wreckage. And the girl tied to it all, the girl she was told had fled, disappeared, forgotten, was here. Alive, and possibly gunning for her again. The first meeting wasn't scheduled. It didn't need to be. It happened, like all disasters do, too fast, too real. Steffi entered the building. Luna was being escorted out. Their eyes locked. Seconds passed. Then fury erupted. You, Steffi choked, her voice breaking. You're still here? Luna tried to speak. She didn't get the chance. Steffi stepped forward. You tried to kill me. No, I never. You drugged me. You crashed my car. You destroyed everything. Officers held them apart. Cameras caught it all. And then came the fatal blow, not physical but legal. I'm pressing charges, Steffi said. I want her in prison. The hallway exploded. Reporters surged. Lawyers scrambled. And Luna, once a footnote in someone else's story, became the headline. Now the court system would decide. But no matter the verdict, the damage was done. Families split. Loyalties shattered. And the question echoing through every office. Every home. Every whisper in the Forrester halls. Was Luna truly dangerous? Or the latest victim of a family built on secrets and revenge? The battle had begun. The third act of the war for Steffi's peace. For Luna's soul. And in the bold and the beautiful, peace is always the first casualty.